Hell yeah, Challenger 2 hype! Good afternoon, you wee bastards, and yes, it is a good one indeed. Holy shit. The Challenger 2 is coming next patch? Yes. This is good. Thank you, Gaijin. So lads, patch 1.87 is going to see the arrival of rank 7 ground forces, and the first tank that's been announced is Britain's mighty Challenger 2. Oh my god, she looks beautiful, I just want to lick it! Honestly, I've always said that I think the Challenger 1 is a better looking MBT than the Challenger 2, but seeing it modelled in War Thunder like this, I think I might have to retract that statement. Oh yeah, of course I made tea for this video. Expect me to be about 7 times more hyped up than I should be right now. Rank 7 already? Do you guys know what this means? M1A1 this patch most likely, TATU, C-Tech Leopard 2A4 and all the others. But Gaijin has started us off with what I can honestly say when I tell my overhyped mind to shut up for a second, will likely be the worst of the bunch. I'm sorry British fans, I really am, but the Challenger 2 probably isn't going to be all that effective. I've talked extensively about the capabilities of the Challenger 2 in the past, so I'm going to direct you to that video because it basically functioned as a devlog coverage for this tank, but I just had to make this more for my own benefit than anything else because I'm so madly hyped up right now, even if I shouldn't be. What can I say lads, I like being happy about shit. Also, Maximus has me chained up in his basement and is going to kill me otherwise. Help me! Just briefly, the Challenger 2 is a 1990s main battle tank developed to replace the older Challenger 1 that had served Britain faithfully during the Gulf War. It was adopted into service with the British Army in 1998 and serves with them nearly unchanged to this day. Guys, for the first time, we have a tank in-game that is younger than me. When I say unchanged, sure, there have been plenty of upgrade programs to the Challenger 2 over the past 2 decades, but none that have drastically changed the tank, like the M1A1 adding the 120mm M256 smoothbore gun, and later variants adding depleted uranium armour, or the Leopard 2A5 adding the distinctive arrowhead turret piece. The Challenger 2 model that is in service with the British Armed Forces still uses the same armour and armour profile it has since the 90s, the same gun, same engine and the same shells, so what we're getting here might be the original Challenger 2 tank from the 1990s, but is basically identical with a Challenger 2 that I'm sure people in my audience have served actively with since I started this YouTube channel. How cool is that? Of course there have been many upgrades to ballistic computer systems, plenty of add-on armour packages which we may see as upgrade modules in War Thunder, I hope so, but at a glance the Challenger 2 has remained very much the same tank. Interestingly enough though, with the German company Rheinmetall purchasing a majority stake in BAE Systems, the company put forth a technology demonstrator model for a Challenger 2 Mark II, which switches out the L30A1 rifled cannon for the smoothbore L55 gun used by the Leopard 2A6 and 2A7. This gun is the same length as the L30, but will necessitate a new welded turret and revised interior to house the single piece ammunition, as well as some new onboard computer systems and I assume an active protection system. The upgrade would also feature a new, more powerful 1600 horsepower engine over the Challenger 2's current 1200 horsepower one, which is the one we're going to get in War Thunder, and I'm sure plenty of other changes. Perhaps this is a tank we'll receive in War Thunder at some point in the future. I think that'll be really interesting and help Britain remain competitive when we have tanks like the T90M, M1A2 SEP or Leopard 2A5 in game. The armour of the Challenger 2 uses the upgraded Dorchester composite armour, which is effective up to 515mm on the frontal turret and up to 500mm on the hull against kinetic energy munitions, and Gaijin states up to 900mm against chemical warheads, which is odd because the Challenger 2 was known to have quite noticeably superior chemical protection to the M1A2 Abrams of the early 90s, and as far as I know should range between the 1000 and 11 to even 1300mm effectiveness range. 900mm on the frontal hull sounds more likely. The Challenger 2 retains the lower frontal plate weak spot of the Challenger 1, not a big issue in real life where CR2s can sit covered behind ridgelines 4km away from their target, protecting their unarmoured sections, but a big deal for us in War Thunder where close quarters combat is the name of the game and long range, hold down defensive gameplay is near unheard of. Fortunately though, the Dorchester armour does extend down the lower front plate a fair way, so hopefully the weak spot will be no bigger than that of say the T80B or Leopard 2A4 currently seen in game, smaller than the Challenger 1s at least. The main reason for the continued use of the L30A1 120mm rifled cannon over the smoothbore cannons of contemporary main battle tanks is the highly destructive Hess shell that Britain is quite fond of and uses frequently as a demolition tool. These cannons are designed not to be more accurate than their smoothbore contemporaries, as is commonly thought. Actually, the M1A2 and Leopard 2A5 achieve far greater accuracy results in testing, but to be more precise. What that basically means is that the British rifled gun is more predictable. The shells will always fly to the same place, whereas if the M256 on the M1A2 or L44 on the Leopard 2 hit perfectly on the first shot, they may not on the second. They're extremely accurate, but less precise. I'll add an image on screen which should help ease the confusion you lads no doubt have. The speed of the Challenger 2 is near identical to that of the Challenger 1, but the manoeuvrability should be a little superior, and hopefully Gaijin will model the Challenger 2's fantastic suspension and transmission. The horizontal turret drive should also be faster, which will be a massive help for the close quarters engagements it'll no doubt find itself in. The shells fired by the Challenger 2 are quite similar to current in-game shells. I'm hoping for both Charm 1 and Charm 3, which means that max flat penetration should be in the neighbourhood of 530mm, with a 60° pen of around 320mm, which will be the highest in the game. But given the recent ballistics update, I'm questioning whether this tank will even hit 500mm flat penetration, seeing as the Type 90's JM33 now sits only a hair above 480. So right now, interestingly enough, nothing in-game can pen the turret shakes or upper hull of the Challenger 2, although keep in mind that the mantlet is still a weak spot, although not nearly as weak as the CR1, M1 Abrams or Leopard 2, and of course that lower plate. Although it is worth noting that even when we get into territory like the Leopard 2A5, the Challenger 2 will retain a pretty strong upper hull, so I wouldn't call this thing a pushover just yet. Let's wait and see how it performs. Of course, the realistic part of me, which, since I play War Thunder is also the pessimistic part of me, is expecting this tank to be overshadowed by an M1A1 and T80U within a matter of days. But guys, let me have my moment, okay? God, this thing is gorgeous. So I've been hyping up a video talking about future tanks ever since I started making corrections and suggestions video on our current top tier, and with rank 7 coming this very patch and starting to be announced already, I'm going to put aside other current projects to get that out this weekend, which will be a two-parter, so expect that out within the coming days. Unfortunately, I have decided to put off the custom battle livestream I had planned to do today until next week in order to get this video out and then work on the modern tanks one, so make sure you come join Discord for updates on that. Anyway, regardless of realistic expectations, I'm super excited for this patch. I can't wait to command a Challenger 2, and I hope you lads are excited as I am, because boy, it feels good. I'm extremely happy today. The tank does look absolutely beautiful. I commend Gaijin on their work on the visual model, and I can't wait to see what else does join the Challenger 2 in rank 7. I'm sure I'll get comments saying, "Wow, Gaijin should fix stuff instead of adding new vehicles." Seriously guys, those comments are getting real old. I'm almost certain we'll get the Imperial Japanese Navy this patch as well, and maybe a couple more tier 6 jets like the Super Mysteri, G91Y, and stuff like that. I'm going to take a stab and say not British helicopters. Ah well, one day. I can't even be brought down today, I'm hyped as shit. The addition of rank 7 itself for ground forces does mean that new top tier premiums are likely, even though I'm sure that most of us are hoping that's not the case. I hope Gaijin learned their lesson with the XM1 and isn't now going to add any even later top tier premiums, but at the same time there are some really nice models that do line up nicely for the spot, like an East German premium T72M, which would be basically identical to the current in-game T72A. I also expect to see an East German T55 at some point, maybe for Russia the T72M, while Germany could get the 120mm armed Leopard 2AV. America could see the XM1 up tier to 9.3, it certainly deserves that spot, and possibly get the M60A3 as a lower tier 6 premium at the same battle rating as the British Shot Cal. Britain could get the Shear 2, or maybe the Challenger Mark 1, we'll have to wait and see. Either way, Gaijin does say that the top tier premiums we do have, the XM1, Leopard L44, T55 AM1 and Shot Cal Dalet, will be moving up to tier 6 this patch, which is good for my OCD. Rank 7 also means that we're likely to eventually reach Rank 7 in the air as well, so that means much more modern jet fighters like maybe the F-15 Eagle and Su-27 Flanker, which are probably going to have a whole bucket load of issues themselves, but I'm still excited to see it happen. Anyway lads, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed and that you leave a like if you did, as it really helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit that notification bell, join the 360 squad, and come join the koala tree and follow me on other social media. Remember to come check out my Patreon if you'd like to further support the channel, and always remember lads, keep your bagpipes to hand, keep your kilt on, and I shall see you next video. I say a wee thank you to these lads for supporting me on Patreon. DA261, Latvian Wolf, Gisli Garashin, and Dark Recon. You lads are bra. If you wish to join them, come check out the link in the description below.